Greetings, Atlas Corps community. Thanks for tuning in today. My name is Abby Robinson, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Atlas Corps and also a Class 2 alum of our fellowship. Today, we are here to talk to you about a special initiative at Atlas Corps, and really it is a milestone for our organization. Today, we're going to be talking about the Atlas Corps Pakistan Emerging Leaders Initiative. And what makes it so special is that this initiative is a collaboration between Atlas Corps and two alumni-led organizations. So I'm going to be joined by two representatives from those organizations. From Accountability Lab Pakistan, we'll have the Deputy Director of Programs, Asif Faruqi, and then we'll also have from CaterpillHERs, Atlas Corps alum and founder of CaterpillHERs, Hira Saeed. So to give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about today, it's actually a two-part conversation. The first part, we're going to be talking about this overall initiative, which includes three unique programs, one run by Atlas Corps, one run by Accountability Lab Pakistan, and one run by CaterpillHERs. And then in the second part of the program is we're going to focus specifically on the Atlas Corps program, our Virtual Leadership Institute for Emerging Leaders from Pakistan. And we're going to be joined by one of our scholar alums from Pakistan, Zunira, who's going to share some of her experiences. So I encourage you, stay tuned, listen in, and add your comments and questions on the chat. We'll be addressing those at specific question and answer times. So let's dive into the initiative overview. The Atlas Corps Pakistan Emerging Leaders Initiative involves three unique programs. The goal of this initiative is to build community across emerging professionals in Pakistan by building the capacity of local leaders and community-based initiatives. This collaboration will engage a total of 100 emerging professionals from Pakistan in one of three unique leadership development programs implemented by one of our partner organizations. So as you can see on this great slide, is we have leadership program number one, the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute. The goal is to engage 50 Pakistani scholars between the ages of 22 to 35 in our Virtual Leadership Institute. And we will share details on that in the second part of this live stream. Leadership program number two, the Accountability Lab Pakistan will engage 30 Pakistani university and madrasa students in the Pakistan Youth Peace Incubator. And leadership program number three, CaterpillHERs will engage 20 Pakistani female entrepreneurs in the CaterpillHERs Greater Good Accelerator Program. Applications for each program are unique and administered by the organization leading the program. Individuals may apply for more than one initiative, but we anticipate that individuals will only be accepted for one. And we encourage you to visit pakistan.atlascorps.org to learn more about this overall Pakistan Emerging Leaders Initiative. And now we are going to hear some of the specifics from each of the organizations. As I mentioned, Atlas Corps, I'm going to go into our Virtual Leadership Institute at the end. And before that, we're going to hear about program number two and number three. So I'm going to welcome two dynamic individuals to the virtual stage. Asif Faruqi is the Deputy Director of Programs for Accountability Lab Pakistan. And Hira Saeed is the founder and CEO at CaterpillHERs and also an Atlas Corps alum. And they're going to tell us more about their leadership programs. So we're going to invite first, Asif, do you want to share a little bit about Accountability Lab Pakistan and as well a little bit about the specific program you'll be running?
Yeah, thank you, Abby. And hi, everyone who has joined us for the event today. Accountability Lab is a nonprofit research-based advocacy organization. We are based in Islamabad, Pakistan. Accountability Lab is part of a translocal network of organizations who are based in 13 countries across three continents, Asia, Africa, and America. In Pakistan, Accountability Lab is working across 16 districts. Our core areas are governance, accountability. We are also working on human resource development extensively, and we also help governments in advocacy and research-based advocacy. Regarding this program, Accountability Lab is excited to be part of this initiative, which is led by Atlas Corps and partnered by CaterpillHERs. One of the interesting thing is that Accountability Lab is also led by one of the fellows of the Atlas Corps, Fayaz Yassin, who's unfortunately is not with us today. Accountability Lab is managing a youth peace incubation program here in Pakistan for last 5 years across various public sector universities across Pakistan in all 4 provinces. Um, Till now, this program has engaged around 50,000 students, 2,000 young leaders directly trained, and 50,000 youth reached and youth and faculty reached through this program. The overall objective of this program, for which we have also partnered in this initiative, Youth Peace Incubation Program, the overall objective of the program is to develop the cadre of young leaders and scholars who have the ability to critically think and devise local sustainable solutions to address conflict and other issues within their communities. The areas that Accountability Lab will be focusing here will be leadership, social development, and civic education. Uh, Through this initiative, Accountability Lab will train around 30 young leaders who will be representing different leading public sector universities as well as madaris. And that's it from our end. If anyone has a question, I would be happy to respond.
Excellent. Thank you, Asif. That sounds very dynamic. And we will have some questions for you at the end. And before we dive into those questions, Hira, we'd love for you to share a little bit more about CaterpillHERs and about the Greater Good Accelerator Program. Oh, and just 1 second, we will make sure your mic is off mute because we want to hear what you're saying. And there we go. Excellent. All right. Well, take it away, Hira.
Thank you so much, Abby, and thank you so much, Atlas Corps, for setting this up. Hello, everyone. My name is Hira Saeed. I'm the founder and CEO of CaterpillHERs. What CaterpillHERs does is basically we are an entrepreneurship and career accelerator for women. With this particular initiative that we are running with Atlas Corps and Accountability Lab, we will be basically running an accelerator. We have named that accelerator Greater Good Accelerator for Social Innovation. This accelerator is basically will be focused on building the capacity of women leaders, women influencers, and also entrepreneurs all across Pakistan. With this accelerator, we're also providing curriculum that is designed on the theme of entrepreneurship, on the theme of gender diversity, and also on the theme of overall social innovation. We will also have workshops, we'll have communities, we will have group coaching, we will have one-on-one mentorship. So I would also like to plug, if any of you who's watching me right now, if you're a women leader based anywhere in Pakistan, because the accelerator is going to be 100% remote, we are accepting applications until late December. More details on this, obviously the team is going to plug it later as well, but you can go to our website, caterpillhers.com, to access the form. Once again, thank you so much, and really excited to be working with Atlas Corps, Accountability Lab, and everybody else who will be applying to the program. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you both. And I also really appreciate the dynamic of unique target groups. And that's what's going to be so exciting. While our unique participants are engaging in the specific programs, they're also going to have the opportunity at different times to engage one another. So you'll have university students with emerging entrepreneurs and then emerging leaders in their professional careers. So on that note, I want to emphasize and dive a little bit to the application process. One feedback that I've heard over the years at Atlas Corps is an individual may hear about an opportunity and they just don't think that they're ready, or that might be the opportunity for them. So Asif, let's start with you, and then here I'm going to jump to you as well. Can you give some specifics on where's the application, what's the deadline, and maybe 2 to 3 tips about how to make an individual's application really strong?
Yeah, the application process for the Accountability Lab Youth Peace Incubation Program will be announced formally tomorrow. That is 4th of November, and the applications will be open till December 30th. So it will be a 2-month period. The applications will be be available and promoted through through our website as well as through our social media pages. Details will soon be available through the call of proposal that will be announced through our social media pages from tomorrow. The key areas are definitely since I have mentioned that we will be focusing on leadership development and social development and civic education. And we have designed the application form and the criteria in a way that it's a self-explanatory. But I would request everyone to be very precise and clear about the objectives of their initiative, which they are actually working for, and the expectations which they have through this program. That will really help our team to see through their applications and see how aligned their applications are with the objectives of this program.
Excellent and very helpful. So here, the same question to you: deep dive details on the application, deadline, as well as 2 to 3 tips you recommend.
Yes, of course, Abby. So our applications, we're accepting applications right now. The best way to find the form is either through our website, which is caterpillhers.com, or either through our Instagram page. We are actively posting a lot of announcements over there too. In terms of like the target audience we're looking at any woman based in Pakistan, ideally from those areas where a lot of other incubators and accelerators usually do not reach. Just because this program is 100% remote, we want to reach those areas where traditional programs do not reach because they are more physical. So no matter where you're based in Pakistan, if you have an internet connection, if you have a laptop, you can. And once again, this program is, we're actively designing this program to be in Urdu. So even if you do not have very good proficiency in English, just do not let that restrict you, and to just go ahead to our website and apply to the program. And some of the tips that I would give is, a lot of the times, and that's just a research as well, that women do not apply until or unless they meet like a certain requirement on the application form versus men. But I would take this platform to kind of like urge everybody, even if you feel that you're not a good fit, just fill out the application form. Let us be the judge. If we see the potential, if we see that the idea that you're working on is worth exploring, we'll reach out to you. Even if you do not have an existing business, you are an influencer, you're a community leader, you run a small project within your local neighborhood as well, we would encourage you to apply, because that's how we're going to reach to the areas where other traditional programs don't. So yeah, that would be my few tips on applying. And yeah, I'm going to post the website, because I know the name of our company is a little bit confusing for some people. It's caterpillars.com. I'm going to post it on the chat as well.
Excellent. Thank you. And that's great life advice. If you're interested, go for it, apply, let us be the judge. And it's a great learning opportunity to fill out these applications. So I appreciate there's some great questions coming in. And I do want to remind people when we're talking about the application. So yes, there are 3 unique programs: the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute, Accountability Lab Pakistan, and then CaterpillHERs. And so there's a unique application for each. There's also a very unique profile, I think, for each. And so we encourage you, if you go to pakistan.atlascorps.org, you're going to be able to find links for all 3. And while you can apply for more than one, so let's say you're an emerging female leader and you apply for the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute and the Caterpillars Greater Good Accelerator Program, you only can be selected for one. So if you're eligible for both, you can apply for both, and know that as 3 organizations collaborating, we're going to ensure that opportunity is spread out. And also, it would be very demanding to participate in more than one program. So great question. And so yes, so please apply specifically. You can look at the criteria and the dynamics of who's going to be involved, because I think they're all unique. And so the last question I'm really going to delve into, and then we'll do some closing remarks, is about the projects. So we'll start with Hira this time. You mentioned a little about your project, and your initiative specifically focuses on entrepreneurship. So one, do you have any examples of projects that your past participants have engaged in? And 2, can you remind us, you had just mentioned about the level. Does it need to be a formed business initiative? Can it just be an idea? There were a lot of questions about the project, and Asif, I'll have similar questions for you.
So on our end, we're trying to like find those type of projects that are not too early in the phase, but not too advanced as well. With the curriculum that we're designing is designed in a way that is touching base on a lot of things other than just entrepreneurship as well. So even if you're running like a community project, which is like a Facebook community, but for women, or Facebook community, but for any other specific impact that you want to create, we would encourage you to apply, because again, we do not want to make this just for entrepreneurship, because I know that there are so many other women all across Pakistan running tiny little projects within their own communities, within their own local neighborhoods, and we want to give the access to them to come together as a community. So if you're a woman based in Pakistan, no matter where you are, we encourage you to apply. If you run a small project which is impacting lives, but you're not sure the direction that you want to take and to take it to the next step, we encourage you to apply. If you're already running an existing registered company, but you just want to explore this multi-dimensional like accelerator where we're talking about gender diversity, leadership, entrepreneurship, we encourage you to apply. That's the kind of persona or the ideal profile that we're looking at.
Excellent. Very helpful. And Asif, how about you? And especially looking into that that project piece as well, or like the initiative, and what level can it be an idea? Does it have to be developed? And I want to make sure you are off mute. There we go.
Yeah. Abby, at the Youth Peace Incubation Program, since the lab has been working with the academic youth at the universities, so most of these students, they have potential ideas. So we don't actually require them to be professionals or having established initiatives in the communities. What we require is the commitment, a long-term commitment to stay with the program and beyond the program. So this is one thing, but yes, our core focus will be on the idea, how they see the local issues, and how they see their response to those local issues to be related with those local communities in a sustainable and long-term manner. So our core focus will be about their ideas and how they see the sustainability of that program in the local context. So we won't require the experience or the established initiative. I can also see a number of interesting questions here in the chat box, so I would like to respond to a couple of them.
Please.
Our program is hybrid. So our activities are designed in a way that we would be engaging with the participants of this program in a hybrid manner, where a few trainings will be in person, especially the master training core training program that will be in Islamabad, where all the participants will be brought in here at Accountability Labs facility for the core training program for the initial training. And also the social impact projects for which Accountability Lab will be providing micro grants to the participants to test their ideas in their local communities. Those activities will be in person. But yes, the rest of the mentoring that will be we continue throughout the year for around 8 to 10 months. That will be virtual. So it's going to be a hybrid thing to apply for the lab program.
Great. And that actually inspires a great reminder. And one minute I'm going to ask Asif and Hira to kind of provide their closing remarks. And then we're going to shift to talk more in detail about the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute. But quick summary reminders. So there are 3 unique programs. There's an Atlas Corps program, an Accountability Lab Pakistan program, and a CaterpillHERs program. And if you go to pakistan.atlascorps.org, it's centralized information, and you can also find the links to the unique organizations. There are 3 unique profiles of participants, as well as 3 unique applications. You do not need to apply for all 3 programs. You can apply for one, or if you are eligible for more than one, you will only be accepted to participate in one. And as far as the dynamics, the Atlas Corps and CaterpillHERs programs are 100% virtual, and the Accountability Lab Pakistan program is hybrid. So there will be virtual and in-person opportunities. And the long-term benefit of being a participant in this unique collaboration is that there's going to be engagement with all three of these organizations, and there's going to be long-term opportunities. All three of our organizations very much pride themselves on their alumni engagement. So know that there's the program participation, and also there's long-term activities. So Asif, we'll have you start the wrap up, and any last remarks you'd like to leave our active audience.
Yeah, I would like to request everyone who is attending this program to please go through the application process and do apply, because with my association at Lab during last 3 years, I have really seen those 2-3-liner ideas on the paper transforming into real-time community-based initiatives. So there is a lot of opportunity, and one of the real-time impact that you can see is that today, the partner organizations who are working with Atlas Corps are led by the fellows who a few years back joined the program the way we are inviting you guys now. So please do not hesitate. Whatever idea you have, please do share with us.
Excellent. Thank you, Asif. And Hira.
I'll just echo what Asif has said, that even if you have been brainstorming one idea that you want to just give a shot at, even if you're running something like casually or informally, but you're actively thinking to pursue it as a full-time business, we would highly encourage you to apply for the programs, apply for any of the programs that you feel more excited about. And that's it. I think I'm personally really excited to be working with all of you, no matter where you come from in Pakistan. It's a 100% online program, and that's just like that's the best part of it. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you, Asif. Thank you, Hira. And again, now is the opportunity to be part of one of our 3 great programs, and also a milestone for Atlas Corps, this 3-way collaboration, as well collaboration that includes engagement with organizations led by Atlas Corps alumni, just demonstrating the impact. So thank you both. We look forward to receiving all these applications. And I encourage everyone, as Asif and Hira leave our virtual stage, Part 2, we're going to focus on the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute. So I want to go over the specifics, and also we're going to hear from one of our alumni. So the Pakistan Virtual Leadership Institute. So this is specifically for those individuals who are interested in engaging with our Virtual Leadership Institute. So our goal is to engage 50 social impact professionals between the ages of 22 to 35 from Pakistan. And these individuals will join our growing global community of 1,500 professionals from 115 countries. And to give you an overview of what the Virtual Leadership Institute looks like, some of the key dates. Our application date is November 30th. And you'll see at the bottom, pakistan.atlascorps.org is our deadline for applying. And our selection process will happen in December. So that's when Atlas Corps reviews and will make the selection of the 50 participants. And then the program is slated to start in February 2023. Remember, this is just the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute, a 100% online program. And then program ends in June 2023. So it's important to know the deadline, November 30th, and then the start date is February 2023. And then June 2023 is when the active participation ends. And let's talk about the basic eligibility requirements. So first, you must be a citizen of Pakistan, between 22 to 35 years old, and have a bachelor's degree or equivalent, English proficiency, oral reading and writing. And I think this is important in our conversation that Hira of CaterpillHERs mentioned that program will be delivered in Urdu. Atlas Corps is a global organization, and our leadership programs are delivered in English as our universal language, and that we have participants from 115 countries. So it is important that you know and are prepared to participate in English. And so all our materials will be delivered in English. And then 2 or more years of professional experience. So that can be full-time experience, maybe an internship or volunteer experience. Those are our basic requirements. And now our modules. So the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute is based on 5 key modules that are delivered over 5 months with lifelong engagement in our alumni community, assuming that everyone completes. And how do these modules look? So our first is orientation. So that first month, We have a kickoff call, and that's when we do the overall orientation to the initiative, to our organization. And then in month 2, it's developing self. We focus on emotional intelligence, navigating cognitive bias. And then we have developing others, conflict resolution, giving and receiving feedback, and decision making. And then the 4th month is leading organizations. And then we end with a reflection. And our typical format is we have one launch call where we have all the scholars, we call them virtual scholars, joining a call where we introduce this topic. We have a facilitator that usually over a 90-minute to 2-hour call. And then between each launch call, there are some electives, there's some online activities, and there's also peer coaching groups of about 8 to 10 scholars that are led by a trained peer coach. So it's a great opportunity to get introduced to what we consider our universal leadership skills. So whether you're focused on community health or communications or monitoring and evaluation, these are universal skills that are going to advance your professional and personal skills. And now let's talk about this community project. As you may have heard in the first part of the call with 3 organizations, all programs have some kind of project or initiative. And we feel this is so important because it's an opportunity for you as a potential scholar to apply what you're learning to implementing something that can benefit your local community or your country. And for the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute, it can be an activity, a training session, perhaps an entrepreneurial venture. And we want something that contributes to building community resilience and development in Pakistan. And so it's important to note this could be a new idea. So potentially maybe you're thinking about a project, and the Virtual Leadership Institute could be the moment when you launch that. Or you may also have a project that you started, and this could be an opportunity to take it to the next level. So we encourage you on the application, we'll ask about your project, and it is okay if it's just an idea or if it's also something that's currently active. And the benefits. You may ask, well, why should I become an Atlas Corps scholar? You will receive 100 hours of free professional development training. You'll have access to additional Atlas Corps trainings and opportunities. You're eligible for funding to develop your community project. And this is key. During the course of the Virtual Leadership Institute, we'll actually have an application process where our participants will be able to apply for these small funds to help advance your project. And then what I consider is the most beneficial is the opportunity to connect with other professionals from Pakistan and all over the world. As we mentioned, this overall initiative will engage 100 emerging leaders from Pakistan. In addition, Atlas Corps is a community of 1,500 social change leaders from 115 countries, and you will be part of that global community. Now let's review some of those application tips. So if you go to pakistan.atlascorps.org, you'll see the link to apply for the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute. It's an online application, and here are just 5 quick tips to complete that application. Be specific and provide examples. We want to know exactly what you've been doing, what your skills are. Think about your motivation. Why do you want to participate in this program? And I think our scholar alum who's going to be speaking next will be able to enlighten on some examples of motivation. Write a strong 1-paragraph bio. Give insight into yourself. Who are you? What have you accomplished? How are you engaged in your community? What have you studied? This is not a time to be shy. This is a time to be bold and descriptive. Check over your spelling and grammar. So there's great tools online if you're not sure that you can double check, but just know we want a well-written application and practice before recording your video. A great opportunity is there's a video aspect where you will submit a video recording of yourself so we can get to know you better. We recommend that you record that video, watch it, think how you can improve before you record the final, and then upload that to your application. Excellent. So on that note, now that we've heard those tips, let's hear about the scholar experience. So I'm excited to welcome Atlas Corps scholar Zunira from Pakistan to hear more about her firsthand experience of the Virtual Leadership Institute. And currently, Zunira is actually an Atlas Corps Fellow, Class 46, and she's serving at Making Sense International in Washington, D.C. Zunira, you are a great example of you got engaged remotely in the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute, and now you've continued on this talent journey of becoming an Atlas Corps Fellow, which is another program where you actually serve 14 months with an organization. So congratulations. And let's start out about you. Tell us about your background, what you're currently doing, and what attracted you to become involved in the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute.
Hey, Abby, thank you so much for the introduction and for inviting me for this. So as you mentioned, I joined the Virtual Leadership Institute, and I joined it at the time of COVID lockdown. So basically, my background is in communication, design, content development, and we all know during COVID, when everything went virtual, there weren't a lot of tools to facilitate the transition from in-person work to digital work completely. So during that, I got to explore my skills a lot more. As somebody who works on digital content development, I was recently working with startups, and I was very interested in the programs and the conversation that Hira and Asif brought for this program today. So right before coming to DC to work with Making Sense International as an Atlas Corps Fellow, I was working with startups at the National Incubation Center in Pakistan. And I believe that's where all the innovation and creativity happens. So talking about the Virtual Leadership Institute, I think, as I mentioned, I joined the program during COVID. And my motivation, first of all, was to bridge that gap because we suddenly transitioned from physical, regular routine of work to digital. And then everybody was hopeful, rightfully so, that we'll get back to the normal. So I wanted to prepare myself for that transition because working from home was a challenge. And in my personal and professional capacity, that took a lot of learning and unlearning to do. So my motivation and main interest in joining the institute was because of how the curriculum is designed to equip you with those skills to make that transition. And I think to maybe make more sense of what skills you have already. And the community project was something that helped me explore those skills better and put them in place to better understand how to use them.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, on that note, are there one or two highlights from the Virtual Leadership Institute, perhaps someone you connected with, or give us an update on your community project? We'd love to hear some of those specifics that you really gained.
Yeah, sure. So I think one is my transition from the Virtual Leadership Institute to actually being an Atlas Corps Fellow. During the Institute, I got connected with one of the team members and a current fellow, Mas, who's an excellent individual. And we chatted about a few things. And during my work at the National Incubation Center, we also got to do a webinar on bridging that gap for women at workplace. So I think that's testament to how these courses, these institutes, these programs help you connect with people from all over the world, and not just people who share the same interests as you do, but also to explore new perspective, to get to know them in their capacity and maybe take a thing or two from them. And that's what helped me develop my community project, because I was, as Hira said, I was shy to maybe take on a project. And then I couldn't make sense of how to collaborate with other people. But because it seemed so easy to connect with people from all over the world virtually, I took a stab at it, and then I started developing that project. And during that project, so there were multiple iterations of it, So I got to understand what I wanted to do better too. So my community project was focused on women in entrepreneurship and online digital spaces. And while it was just an idea, I got to talk to a lot of people and I got to learn how things were in different parts of the world. I was able to develop that a lot better. And I think if I was doing that alone in my on my laptop in my room, it wouldn't have been the same thing. And the project actually took off, and we actually got to work with a lot of women from Pakistan. So yeah, I think that was the highlight of it. I felt like it the whole loop had closed because I got to experience those and get those tools, and then I put them in place and utilize them. And then the effect multiplied. So the impact was not just on me, but also in the community as well.
I love that multiplying impact. We talk about that a lot at Atlas Corps. Is here you were talented, had great ideas, and then being part of the Virtual Leadership Institute just accelerated both your community project as well as your engagement with others. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'd also love to hear, I talked a little about the modules, how over 5 months, there's these 5 themes, and there's calls, and there's peer coaching groups. There's also activities you can do at home. Were there 1 or 2 activities that were special to you that were really impactful that you enjoyed? Can you share a little bit about some of the learning curriculum that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, 100%. I think how the whole program is structured in these modules is, it's there for a reason. That's exactly how, like, if even if it's self-paced, you can just go through those modules, and that helps you understand and focus on one skill at a time. And I think one of the activities was around conflict. So there were videos and there were exercises around it. And I think for me, that was the most interesting thing to do because oftentimes we overlook the power of conflict at workplaces and in personal lives because it has a negative connotation to it. But to explore it from a different perspective, that it can be constructive, and these are the tools that can help you give positive and active criticism. That really helped me change my mind about around conflict, because just attaching that negative connotation to it always sort of pushed me to avoid it. But to be able to have those tools to take it head on and actually make sense of it and accept it and make use of it in my practices, that was something that has stuck with me forever. And I think if I had to take like one takeaway from the program, that wouldn't be possible. But this is one of the highlights, that I actually got to learn about conflicts, which may sound like a no-brainer, but it was a huge thing for me to explore and then practice as well. And I think that has had a great impact on me.
And that is such a unique lesson, the value of conflict to actually be productive and advance your work. Thank you for sharing that. And now, as we're closing out, what final remarks do you have for individuals in Pakistan who might be thinking about applying? Thoughts, recommendations, inspirations for our audience?
I think especially for having worked with youth and startups in the innovation ecosystem in Pakistan, I think there is no shortage of creativity or talent. I will echo what Hira and Asif said, that oftentimes it's just that people get overwhelmed and shy away from the opportunities. There may be small things like there's time difference, and we already have a job. How are we going to manage this? I assure you, I think this is one of the best things that I've done for myself. And I believe that upskilling with time is really important. It's equally important as, keeping up with your work. So I'll encourage everyone who's looking for not just making better use of their skills at workplace, but also as an individual, to apply and explore the program, because if even if the whole curriculum does not resonate with you on the same level as it has with other individuals, you will find one or two things that will stay with you forever. And I think um, we look on to so many opportunities and let them go, but this is one of those opportunities that will actually have an impact on you, and the connections that you make, and the people that you interact with. I think that's something, that adds value that cannot be matched.
Thank you. Inspiring. And as an Atlas Corps alum myself, I can wholeheartedly agree with everything you say. So, Samira, thank you for sharing your words of inspiration, and congratulations on being an Atlas Corps Scholar and now an Atlas Corps Fellow. And we wish you continued success and look forward to seeing your bright future. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, as we're nearing the end of our broadcast, I do want to answer a few questions and to make sure everyone has the information they need. First, how do you apply? Go to pakistan.atlascorps.org. You will learn about the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute, as well as the two other programs from Accountability Lab Pakistan and CaterpillHERs. For Atlas Corps, our specific program, our maximum age is 35 years. The deadline to apply to the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute is November 30th, but please do not wait till November 30th. Look at the application today, set aside time, get that application in. And the leadership project. This is a question that has come up on the chat, and I just want to make sure everyone has details on it. When you apply, you can just mention an idea, and then during the Virtual Leadership Institute, you will grow that idea. So if you have an idea, you're not really sure, that is a great place to be. Write it on your application, and that's what you'll be engaging with throughout the Virtual Leadership Institute. It can be a new idea, it can be existing, and it can be community-based, like you want to do a volunteer-based initiative, or you may have an organization that wants to do something. So please get creative and let this opportunity be one where you can grow an idea in your head. So pakistan.atlascorps.org is going to have a lot of great information for you. And on that note, I want to thank everyone again for joining us. I also want to thank our scholar and fellow Zunira, as well as our alumni and partners on this initiative. Accountability Lab Pakistan, run by Fayaz, who's an Atlas Corps alum, and Asif, the Deputy Director of Programs, for joining us today. And then also to CaterpillHERs, which is founded and run by Hira, who's an Atlas Corps alum. You can learn more about how to apply for the Atlas Corps Pakistan Emerging a Leaders Initiative, one of these three leadership programs, at pakistan.atlascorps.org. And remember, November 30th is a priority deadline for Program 1, the Atlas Corps Virtual Leadership Institute, and also a great reminder that the other programs have deadlines around the same time. So please mark that on your calendar. Programs will actively start in 2023. And please remember that applications for each of these three leadership programs are unique and administered by each of our partner organizations. Individuals may apply for more than one, but we anticipate that individuals will only be accepted for one, so you can really focus your participation. And again, you can learn more, pakistan.atlascorps.org. So thank you all. We look forward to receiving your applications, and we really appreciate you tuning in today.